Let's talk some hockey, though. Let's mix it up a little bit, shall we? It's been a while since we've had this gentleman on the program. He comes by way of thefourthperiod.com. You can also follow him on twitter.com/thefourthperiod. Or you can pick up the magazine on newsstands as well. We welcome to the program the editor-in-chief, Mr. Dave Pagnotta. How you doing, sir?
Not too bad. Happy Sunday.
Indeed. What are you up to?
I watched a little bit of football, and
Now, who's your team?
I'm a Dallas guy.
Ooh, okay, so good day for you then.
Yeah. We don't get too many of those with Romo as the quarterback. But
I am a Bronco fan since the 80s, so I'm very happy this year.
Right.
As I've been telling people who come up to me, go, how about your Broncos? Pretty good, huh? And then great year. I said, you know what? The problem is you're still sour about that playoff loss last year where you got upset, and unless they get to the Super Bowl, at least get to the Super Bowl, it's a wasted or it's a disappointing year.
In Manning, you trust.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's talk some hockey here, my friend. I'm enjoying the beginning of this season. A lot of youngsters playing well. Some surprising teams, some disappointing teams, obviously, as well. What surprised you the most so far this early NHL season?
How much? Well, there's been a few. I think how much people have overreacted to fighting and then completely forgot about it. That's just how reactionary a lot of people are that really don't either understand the sport or just don't want to understand it. I'm really surprised at how well teams like Anaheim and Colorado are doing so early on. San Jose, a big surprise, and I like the fact that a lot of the young kids, like you mentioned, are doing some damage. And hey, Sidney Crosby, so far, the start that if he keeps this pace, 174 points, probably not going to happen, but still pretty cool to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Dave. In terms of the Habs, I know it's you're originally from Montreal. You follow them closely. They lose last night to Nashville, but overall 5-3 to start the year. Carey Price is playing pretty decently so far. Eller, Galchenyuk, Gallagher going well. What are your early thoughts on the Habs?
I like what I see. Last night, it's regular season, so you can't really be disappointed with the fact that they lost, considering how they played. And they could have had chances, they had chances and could have capitalized on a few. But the fact that Pekka Rinne was just absolutely lights out for the Predators, just like Carey Price, for the most part, was lights out for the sorry, you may hear my dog in the background.
Wow. What kind of dog is that? And how many batteries does it take?
I got two Huskies, and sometimes they just go on a tangent. But
well, a Husky sounds like a robust dog. I'm not hearing. I'm hearing yappers.
They howl, and they like to. I consider it chirping. So they like to yap a little bit and chirp at me every now and again. So
all right. My apologies. Carry on.
Yes. So last night was a difficult loss, but at the same time, just because of how well they played and how great the goaltending was for both sides, you can't be overly disappointed. You got the takeaways of the unfortunate ones, especially with Danny Briere, his concussion, and the fact that they ended up losing. But overall, the Canadians have been rolling. They've been doing well. They've been doing the little things properly. Carey Price has been great. PK Subban is doing well, and like you said, the top line with Eller, Galchenyuk, and Gallagher has been dynamite. And they're creating chances. They're not giving up defensively. And that's what you want out of a top line. So for now, the Habs are doing really well, and it should continue, especially with guys like Beaulieu and Tenorti, who you would presume get a little more, get some more games under their belt, get the opportunity to do a little more damage, and ultimately just become better hockey players out of it.
Dave, what did you make of the Canadians recently starting Beaulieu and in the lineup, and then putting him back in the press box for the following game? Was this in any way the Habs potentially showcasing him for maybe a trade, or no?
I'd be surprised. There were some off-season fireworks that resulted in a few decisions that the Canadians could have made with regards to Beaulieu. from a personal side, but they know what kind of talent he is and what he can be. And if the Canadians are going to trade a player like Nathan Beaulieu with the talent that he brings and the potential that he brings, it would be something significant. I don't think the Canadians right now are in a position to do that. I mean, they're always picking up the phone, and Bergevin's always taking a look and seeing what could be available and poking the tires a little bit and saying, hey, maybe if your top line guy is available, give me a call. Or if you consider trading your second line winger, give me a shout. Let's talk. And there are a few teams out there that would be interested in, maybe a centerman, maybe some young depth on the blue line, and some up and coming star talent on the blue line as well. So they've got the pieces to make impactful trades. I just don't think anything's there just yet for the Canadians.
Dave, elsewhere in terms of people being traded, is there any chance the Edmonton Oilers would consider trading Nail Yakupov for something?
Yeah, they would, but it would be significant. A lot of the chatter that's been going on right now about Yakupov in a deal for Vanek and Miller or one of the two makes zero sense. Both of the guys are unrestricted at the end of the season. First of all, Miller, as Pierre LeBrun pointed out this week, has Edmonton listed as a no-trade team on his list of 8. Thomas Vanek isn't going to the Edmonton Oilers because it doesn't make sense for Edmonton to make that type of a trade right now in terms of giving up a guy like Nail Yakupov. The Oilers and Sabres, we're talking a little bit more about Steve Ott. That might make sense because the Oilers need some two-way grit up front. But in terms of Nail Yakupov, would they trade him? Yes, but it would have to be a monster trade. They know what type of player he's going to be, and they know how big of a star he's going to be in the National Hockey League. He just needs to get adjusted to their system right now if he ends up staying there, and more comfortable playing under Dallas Eakins and his system. But you're talking about, for the Oilers, you're talking about a first or second defenseman, a top pairing, young stud, if they're going to make that type of a trade involving Yaki. And right now,
Yaki, I've never heard that.
Get a little nickname out there.
Yeah, all right. Let's see if it'll hashtag it, Dave. Maybe it'll catch on. Dave Pagnotta joining us from thefourthperiod.com. Dave, you mentioned Miller and Vanek, unrestricted free agents. Who is in the market for these guys?
Well, right now, from a goaltending perspective, there's not much. I don't anticipate anything coming close with Ryan Miller right now. Maybe in a month, things pick up a little bit, and a few teams have kicked the tires outside of Edmonton. But it's just the goaltending market for a guy like him, especially, just it isn't really existing right now. More so than anything, it's Thomas Vanek. There's Steve Ott, also UFA at the end of the season. There's Tyler Myers, whom they would trade for the right deal. Drew Stafford. They've got a lot of pieces that they're willing to move. In terms of Thomas Vanek, for a team that needs an impact scorer and is willing to give up a similar package to what they got for Jason Pominville at the trade deadline from Minnesota, which was a top-tier prospect up front, former first-round pick, a really good goaltending prospect, doesn't necessarily have to be a goalie. I guess, it would make sense now that they got the kid from Hackett from Minnesota, and then a first-round pick. So you're looking at 2 top-tier prospects and a first-round pick will pretty much be the asking price for Thomas Vanek. And could a team like the Rangers that desperately need help up front be interested in something like that? Very possible. Kreider's apparently available. They've got Del Zotto, who they can still dangle, and I don't think they'd be against moving their first-round pick. There are other teams in the mix, but right now it's still early. But as teams figure out what they want to do, we could see something happen a lot sooner than later in terms of a big impactful trade in the market.
Dave, what is the latest magazine on newsstands?
The one we've got out right now still has Audrina Patridge from the Hills on the cover. Some cool stuff there, some cool stuff from her photo shoot. The next issue will be coming out later this month. Tyler Seguin on the cover, and a really cool feature with Alex Galchenyuk in it, and some cool shots of him and his family too. So we're excited about this issue.
Yeah, you specifically, I'm sure. I know you're a Galley fan, or a Chucky fan, as they're calling him now.
I can't call him that. That's too much for me.
It's it just reduces his artistic skill to a silly nickname. Is that it?
Doesn't jive with me.
All right.
If I can use that expression, just doesn't work.
All
but
right.
I mean, if he scores and does what I think he'll do, and that's the nickname he wants to go with, I'll accept it.
Yeah, but apparently Yaki is a nickname you like. All right, I got it. Dave Pagnotta, the fourth period is the Twitter handle if you want to follow him on Twitter, or check out the website, of course, for breaking news, thefourthperiod.com. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Pleasure as always, bud. See ya.
All right, take care.